I am the CPS Punisher, and I stand before you today with a fierce urgency to address the dark realities surrounding Child Protective Services. I would like to let you know that Monday through Friday I host a roundtable show at 8:30 p.m. Eastern, which is in the United States time zones. I say this only because we have teamed up with some very amazing allies across the Atlantic Ocean. They are true spectacles of word warriors standing shoulder to shoulder with us day and night. Speaking out against the injustices they are facing on their soil, they back us up on ours. We are now a worldwide fighters alliance ready to confront these challenges together. We do have the guts for boots on the ground, but right now we are amplifying our voices. We are putting the almighty pen to paper to create a bill that we must get in front of those seeking office in Congress this November. We need people to assist us in getting these documents to their respective persons for review. Sure, we are talking and raising awareness, but now we must take decisive action. Our kids are waiting far too long to be put back in the homes of their true biological God-given parents.
The stories of our families once told by the ones on front of the fire growing old, sharing light on the greatness they created. Everyone listening to every word, no hesitation. The pride you learned of the name you had, it taught you that you were something, never feel bad. You knew the trials and tribulations it took to make you. Your aunt, your uncle, you always knew who was who. Who was who. CPS, when they take the kids away, erase the heritage of the children they have gotten pay. These children don't know where they begin. They sure know the outcome, the end. CPS, you're destroying the family. You think you're making things better. These kids don't know who they are. They will never. In a blink of an eye you eliminate what's theirs to cherish. There is no imminent danger great enough to annihilate the name of a family and those that it consummate. How dare you take away such an honor for you to get a bonus and arise so much drama. Our kids, their lives erased away. Never will they know who paved the way. They are left empty to never hear the story, who their grandparent were, the sad times and the glory. CPS, walk away. CPS, not today. Please, we beg you, leave the kids alone. God bless you. How do you think you are helping things out? You're causing more pain and agony without a doubt. Why do you want to be the eraser of a family past given by the Creator? CPS, why do you play the role of God while so many families are truly breaking the law, inflicting harm throughout the night? The children are scared to turn out their lights. So go away, don't ever come back. Go away, I want my parents, that's that. I don't belong in a stranger's bed, thinking all night, memories in my head of the only love I once had. It was from my mom and dad. Now I lay alone, listening to strangers fight, never hearing the words I love you, good night. So good job, CPS, you really helped me. Now I'm scared, I'm alone, I don't know who I am. I've been cast away. If I'm lost, no one knows. There is no family to find me. CPS took that away, it's all behind me. When I go to bed every night, I close my eye tight. And through the tears I see my mom and dad, wishing they were here. I am so sad. You ruined my life, who gave you that right? My family loved me, they all said goodnight. Now I'm truly alone, nothing to be happy about, no place to call home. All I know is the time of day. CPS, just go away.
In the United States, CPS makes upwards of $3 billion per day on trafficking and selling our children. The corruption may start with the caseworker, but goes through the judicial system, passing the governor through the Senate and into the White House. The entire system has a hand in the business known as CPS.
Our children are stolen every minute of a 24-hour day. They are being robbed of their innocence, their trust, their happiness. As parents, we are isolated and betrayed by a government we trust. States are balancing budgets on kids' lives. Only 12% of the kids taken will be reunified. Title IV funding is being riveted with fraud.
We need to stop CPS and abolish CPS.com is leading the way. Join us.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to a Wednesday night CPS Victims Hunting Justice, and tonight's night comes with a heavy heart. Another school shooting that is plaguing this nation, and again, nothing good. Sorry about that, there you guys. So nothing good to be coming in that. First of all, what I have to say about this is that it's election times, right? And instead of paying attention to the kids that passed and the two teachers, actually, you know what? Let's do a moment of silence for those people that got killed and that were injured today in that school shooting. So let's just take a second here, guys, and do a moment of silence for them. Clip right here. All right. So that is for those victims and their families today that lost their lives, and the ones that were injured, and all the people that their lives are going to be interrupted now for the rest of their lives because this selfish person did such an atrocity. But thank you for joining us tonight and getting off the news of that for a moment and coming here to listen to us. We have the chat right here somewhere for our friends over in the UK. We've put the link in there for you guys. Let me see here. Carrie's in the house. Hello, Carrie. How are you? I tried to get a hold of you, Carrie, but you didn't answer me by phone, the thing that rings when I call on it. Sorry. So anyway, back to what I was saying with the chat here. Please like, share, do all that stuff. Give us what your thoughts are on the chat here and on all of that. I know it's a somber day, but we got to keep on keeping on, because something tells me, a little bird tells me, that if we do a little bit of digging, we're going to find some correlation between these outbursts of children, and we're going to find a connection with CPS one way or the other. Were they foster children, or were they involved? Did they lose their parents? Were the parents something rather? I bet you. So tonight we brought on Miss Brenda with us, Miss Brenda Cameron. And of course, we got Ashley with us. I got the girls with me right now. Ladies, how are we doing?
Okay. Hey.
All right, I'm trying to find you here. There we are. All right, there we go. And Ashley's in the.
The thing that really gets me excited about this is because years ago, okay, when they've had that first school shooting really in Jonesboro, Arkansas. My husband, this is when Clinton was president, okay?
Yeah.
This was the start of him like being an advisor on mass shootings, rather, and he really was focusing on the school thing. And what jerks me off, because I can bring out papers after papers of his analysis and how to work with the Department of Justice and the FBI and all this other stuff as far as that goes. But the fact is that free thinkers, like as we are, like, okay, we have an idea, we want to share it with you. We have a probability theory that has proven to be very accurate. We want to help. So, what are we going to do? We're going to take your kids and we're going to lock you up. And
Yep.
that's what I'm feeling is just that. And ever since this happened with my kids, this country has been going to hell. I'm telling you that I think the worst shooting was in Florida not that long ago. That was after my kids were taken. And it's just like unbelievable. That's when the cops wouldn't go in and help the kids or whatever.
Oh yeah, that was the one that was just recently, right? The one that they had the 100 cops in the school that were just standing there by their lonesome. All right, we got Durham Justice is in the house with us, ladies and gentlemen. Ashley, what's your thoughts on this today? Do you have any thoughts or things or anything about the school shooting?
It's just, it breaks my heart because I don't know if anybody knows, but I grew up in Colorado, and one of the school shooters from Columbine went to our elementary, and we were absolutely just bully evil to this kid. And it just breaks my heart thinking that we could have changed that, even if just one day of being nice to this kid. And we were just little kids. We didn't know any better. And it really breaks my heart that it's still going on and more. Like, seems like a couple times a year we have this. And I don't understand what this clique about it is. Like, is it a way for them to get their name out there? I don't understand it. And it really irks me.
Well, the fortunate part about the situation today is that they didn't shoot and kill the shooter. So they're going to be able to question and interrogate this boy, and maybe we'll start to be able to get some answers to these questions. But I think deep down inside, I think we all know one of the answers to one of the questions, and that is how much CPS interaction, if any, do these people that do these mass shootings, these kids that have had enough, how much interaction have they exchanged with Child Protective Services?
Funny that you mentioned that, because the gentleman that they claim who tried to assassinate Trump, both of his parents are social workers.
Oh, there we go.
Oh,
yeah,
a little
strange, huh?
Nice little tidbit there. That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, and he was supposedly he was becoming transgender.
Oh yes, of course. He was doing.
That's the rumor. I don't know much about that one, but I know for sure his parents were both social workers.
And to me, and it's like with the Columbine thing, because I was going to mention that, and that seemed like when it just like Alex Jones really got some big shit because of that Columbine thing, but I think there was some truth into what he was saying.
Brenda, you're doing that garble thing, hon. You're getting that garbly thing there.
Shoot.
You sound so good, and then you go blah, blah, blah.
I don't know what it was. I took my charger thing out.
Now you sound good. Now you sound great.
Yeah, but I was just, as far as Alex Jones, I was saying, he had some comments about the Columbine, and then he took a lot of crap for it. But I think that there was a lot of truth in what he was saying, and a lot of his theories and things like that have proven to be true as well. It seems like lots of people that they're attacking is Americans that want to give their point of view, if it differs with them, or and it's just all of a sudden, it's almost like they make this plan. Well, how can we destroy these people's life, and how can we get them to shut up and quit talking? Like, take their kids. That was the reason, And who's going to say anything after that?
Right. Let's see, Durham. Welcome, buddy. What do you guys have to say about school shootings in your country? Does that happen often? Is that something that doesn't happen?
It's not something that happens very often at all. You might get one individual that'll shoot another individual, but mass killings, no, it hasn't happened for years. we've had a thing called Hungerford, which was years and years ago, where somebody went on the rampage killing children. But now it's few and far between, Darren.
Oh wow. I mean, so that's becoming contagious over there. You know what I'm going to do, because Carrie had asked which one was which or whatever. I'm going to put this clip on so you guys can get an update on what actually happened if anybody has missed that here. So let me get to YouTube here and let me pull up what I can for the most recent here. So this is 28 minutes ago here, and let's see if I can get this up here.
Hey.
This is
You know, the thing is that Darren, I sent you a clip through your text because this shows that and a couple of kids were saying they're coming in with AR. These cops are coming in. The kid's ducking because he thinks he's going to be shot. It's like, oh my gosh, these kids are like, they're going to have to go through trauma from having to deal with these cops pointing guns at them.
Right. Well,
Yeah,
I mean, go ahead, Vinny.
I seen the post about it on Facebook today. It made the news.
Oh, of course. Here we go. This guy's here's let me see what I got here.
Our Brittany Edney has been doing a great job of talking to some more students who right now, Brittany, are kind of our eyes and ears until we hear officially from authorities.
Yeah, Christine, and you kind of said this in the past hour, just everyone, on our team just being surprised at the amount of composure and calmness that these students are able to communicate through after everything that they've just been through. I spoke to one student who says that when all of this happened, that he wasn't sure, again, what was happening, but then they got a notification on Smartboard. Now, that is the school's internal communication system. He says at that point, the students were told, go into a hard lockdown. He and others went to a corner of the classroom. Everyone huddled down on the ground together. I'm told that classroom door was secured. And then later on, of course, once law enforcement made the way through the school and started to do their sweep, going room by room, I'm told that they used a key to unlock that classroom door. Now, a separate student that I spoke with, he said that he heard a lot of loud commotion and he was surprised because he was listening to music at the time. Listen to his account right here.
Oh, so I just heard gunshots going off. I had my AirPods on full blast. I was blasting Ken Carson, and I heard gunshots go off, and I was like, oh crap. My friend pushed me to the ground. I thought it was fake until I heard more gunshots and screaming. I was like, oh. And then yeah, they pushed me off to the side, and they came in there told us to get our hands up. So we got out, and we were walking out, and then we walked past, and there was a room, and then there was a body, and there was the gun laying on the ground with the bullets and the blood.
And another thing that I've heard from two students in the past half hour was that when they were exiting, they are telling me that they saw an AK on the floor in the hallway near one of the bodies. Of course, we have heard that 4 tragically lost their lives today, 9 taken to various hospitals. But as they made their way outside of the school to safety towards the back part of campus, I am told that 2 of them have relayed to me that there was an AK on the floor. Now, I did reach out to the sheriff's office about this. I was just told that as of right now, of course, with the magnitude of information that they are sorting through and through all their accounts from witnesses, right now they can't confirm that weapon was used, but also can't rule that out. My source tells me that they are going to look into it, but again, as of right now, they can't confirm or deny whether that AK was on the floor, as 2 students have relayed to me. But again, a lot of these kids that are coming out of the school really just describing the terror of seeing a teacher's body on the floor, multiple people who were killed. This has just been, as you can imagine, a tremendous undertaking for these kids to kind of process.
All right. That went off there. So that's basically a little bit there of what's going on. Let's see if they have anything more. Let's see if this does anything if we do this. Oh, we've already seen that. Okay. No, let's go back here. So it was in Georgia, right? Appalachia, Georgia. Let me see. This was 14 minutes ago. So let's see if we can get a video off of this one here. Okay, good. You good? See that? Good. Okay. Just let this load up. I mean, this is that. It doesn't matter what and who you are, or whatever it is.
3 a.m. this morning.
There you go.
Bear County Sheriff's Office received alerts about reports of an active shooter and radio traffic from school resource officers concerning the same concern, or having the same concern. Within minutes, law enforcement was on scene, as well as 2 school resource officers assigned here to the school, who immediately encountered the subject within just minutes of this report going out. Once they encountered the subject immediately surrendered to these officers, and he was taken into custody. Additionally, what I want you to know as of now, there are 4 individuals who are deceased from this incident, 9 that have been taken to local hospitals with various injuries. Of those that are deceased, 2 are students and 2 are teachers here at the school. The priority right now for us within this investigation is to gather all the facts, to make sure that we're accurate with it, because this is a murder investigation. As the sheriff mentioned earlier this morning, the shooter is in custody. His name is Colt, that's C-O-L-T, Gray. He is a 14-year-old student here at the school, G-R-A-Y. He is a 14-year-old student here at the high school. Again, he has been taken into custody. He will be charged with murder, and he will be tried as an adult and handled as an adult.
Wow. So there's a kid that just let's see if this comes up with something for us, guys, and then we'll get off of this stuff here and we'll get talking to how the interactions with
the people who came to this celebration.
Oh, this is a different event.
Should expect a safe environment. We had over 800 law enforcement officers, Kansas City and other agencies, at the location to keep everyone safe. Because of bad actors, which were very few, this tragedy occurred, even in the presence of uniformed law enforcement officers, who again ran towards them and took them into custody. I myself was outside when I heard the shots fired. It is an ongoing investigation. It's going to take us a little bit to determine exactly what led up to the shooting. I will say, though, we do have 2 suspects in custody.
I don't know if that was the current one here, but I don't know if that was, I think that was just a rundown, guys. I don't know if that was about today. But so far, where the hell is Herbert, man? Oh, there he is.
He's here.
Herbert's
right here.
Get
Yeah.
Ashley back. All right.
Yeah, right here.
Let's get you in here, buddy. What do you say? What say you, Herbert?
Yeah. Well, there's been a lot of shootings, and I think that as a society, we really need to get to the bottom line. Because I want you to think, Darren, when you were a teenager, how many mass shootings did we have?
I don't ever remember having any.
Exactly. There were shootings, but not mass shootings. It almost seems like the first mass, well, okay, I'm going to use the word mass shooting because I think they put a number to it, 4 or more people.
Jonesboro.
Yep. 4 or more people is considered to be a mass shooting. And I think the first one, somebody just mentioned Jonesboro, but was that a shooting or was that the cult thing?
No, it was a shooting.
Yeah, Jimmy Jones isn't that Jimmy Jones, the guy that killed everybody today?
Yeah, it was cult related, wasn't it?
No,
That was mass
it
suicide.
was a long time ago.
That was Jimmy Jones was mass suicide. That was a mass suicide. Remember, they drank Kool-Aid. Remember that? The slogan, "You drank the Kool-Aid." Okay, the first mass shooting that I can recall took place with the post office. Remember, we used to use the term, be careful, he might go postal.
Oh, postal, yep. You're
Yeah.
right. You're absolutely right.
Remember postal? Right. And that guy went in and shot up his with other people. And that's from my recollection of the story.
Well, we're having a bunch of bad audio tonight, man. We're having a bunch of bad audio here.
Having? Oh. Can you hear me
There we
now?
go. Now you're back.
Hello? Oh, okay.
Yes, sir.
So anyway, there's been a bunch of, seems like almost like copycat shootings. So copycat says to me, there's some instability mentally. People are having a lot of mental instability to do that, to take another person's life.
You know what I was thinking, as far as in the mind of the person that does this, that wouldn't it, in my opinion, it'd be a bad idea for the president to come down and have a big show about that, because they, in their mind, they're thinking, oh, well, if I did this too, then I would get the attention. The president would come down and talk about me. So I don't know what y'all think about that.
Yeah, I agree with you.
You got to straighten that one out for me. I didn't quite catch it. You saying that the president? What does the president got to do with the mentality?
Because sometimes when there's a disaster or a mass shooting, okay, the president will come down, give his respects and things like this, right? But in my opinion, it's a bad idea, because the more attention a person like the president would give something like this, like in the mind of another shooter that wants to copycat that, say, well, I'm going to get this type of attention too if I do this, you know.
Well, think about the president. Was there any presidency issues with Sandy Hook, the shootings down at the schools in Florida, the shooting at the hotel in Nevada where they were having a big concert?
Yeah, I haven't really kept up with it. We used to, like, years ago.
Well, you got to keep up with it so you can make that comment, because there's been a lot of mass shootings.
Most of the shootings are done right around state election, which is governor's election, or election for presidency and things like that.
Yeah.
I've noticed, not all of them, but a very good portion of them.
You're right. And I'm going to say these shootings are happening all times of the year, but it just so happens that elections take place too, whether it's local elections, national elections, but elections happen all the time too.
One reporter was saying it was in Georgia alone, there was 12 school shootings just in 2024. Well,
I believe that. Yeah, I would believe that. I mean, there's been a lot of mass shootings. So my question is, what do we do to stop the mass shootings? You can't just increase gun laws. I mean, the gun laws, they apply to the good people who legitimately have guns. I mean, how do you, I mean, what else can you do? California has taken a big stance. They made it where you can't have a firearm unless it's 10-round magazine. You can't have a firearm that you could quickly change out the magazine without using a tool. I mean, they're taking all kinds of action to do that. But yet, you know, California could still have a mass shooting. They haven't had it in a while, but they could have it. So what can you do? You stop people from owning guns? They'll buy it. They'll buy it on the black market.
They'll make them.
That's a good one. They'll make them, exactly. You can make the plastic guns. And if you completely get rid of guns, then it's go nice. For example, New York City, they have, a lot of cities have, you can pinpoint a gunshot within 6 feet where a gunshot takes place. And it differentiates between a gunshot, a backfire, or a firecracker. So it can differentiate a gunshot from all of that. And the police can arrive immediately to that location. So what's happened a lot in New York now, people are being stabbed or there's machetes being used.
That's right, because it doesn't matter. They'll act out in any type of violence. It doesn't really even have to do with a gun. It's the
That's
truth
correct.
behind it.
That's correct. It could be any type of violence. So
They can use a brick. Remember last year they were using bricks against the cops. They were throwing bricks at their heads. I mean,
So, not to interrupt all you, but I have some good news for you guys.
okay.
For us or for you?
I heard from Danielle today. Her son is coming home.
Wait. That's amazing. Good for her.
Wonderful. That's very good news.
Yeah.
Hey, Herbert, there's one for the books.
Yeah.
Miracles do happen.
Came home recently. Didn't Liner just yesterday, Darren?
Yeah, Vinny just read that. Yeah, Vinny just read that right the other day.
Yeah. Oh, that's
Who was that? Yeah.
the same one. Okay, I thought it was new.
Yeah, no, it's just like yesterday or the day before, right? That he read that on the show.
Yesterday, somebody came home.
Right, that's
was it
that too. Yeah.
Oh, okay. I thought that was. I thought.
Person.
No,
So this is the second one
Danielle's
this
the one
week.
that was on the show.
Okay, so this is the second come home this week. The second welcome home this week, then.
Yeah.
Okay.
Danielle that was on the show.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. Yes. So they did come home.
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
Okay, homes this week then. 2 come homes.
Yes, sir.
Michael.
Yep.
That's good.
All right.
That's very good news.
And,
So-
and an update on my side. Tomorrow I have a meeting with the guardian ad litem and my attorney.
Uh-huh.
Well, good. And what are they going to talk about with you, bud?
I don't know.
Oh, good. Well, that'll be we'll all be anxious. It's not like a finalization of anything, right?
No, I think it's before the Jeopardy hearing.
No Jeopardy hearing. Well, you know what, dude? At least if you go, you'll finally see where you stand because you don't even know where you stand at this point, for gosh sakes.
Yeah,
Yep.
it should be your ex parte hearing that they're doing for your visits, right?
Yeah. I'm just waiting I'm waiting for the bail amendment to go through.
Gotcha.
No, that's good. That's real
Hey,
good.
man, the guardian lighting that I had on my case, actually, they switched it a little bit through the case. But a younger girl, like, she was new to this whole thing. I swear to you, because at first I'm thought, okay, this is good. But it's almost like they manipulated her because she generally came on the stand and downright lied about what happened at this one visit. It was like she totally twisted everything around, and I was like, whoa, why would she even say that? Because I was the one that said that, and it's like, it was very strange. Yeah. Because at one point she was recommending that the kids come to court because the kids were asking to come to court, right? They were
Right.
old enough to come to court. And then in
They
another
changed it, though.
statement,
They do
she's
that
like,
because CPS has pull against all these people because of the money that they get. So I just recently learned that the guardian ad litem in my case did not realize that I have not had any of my visitations.
How did they not realize that you didn't have any visitations? They're supposed to be monitoring what's going on in the situation and putting
Because she hasn't talked to them or been in any kind of meetings because we haven't held any in a long time.
Right, but her job is to monitor the situation and tell and give a report back to the court at least at a quarterly thing. So how does this woman not know? Sounds like someone's passing the buck on you, Benny.
did you have her since the beginning?
She hasn't been up to see my daughter, my oldest, in 6 months, she said.
Wow.
You're supposed to check on them every month.
Yeah, you're fired. You know, it's just ridiculous. The amount of inconsistencies and the formality breaches and the errors.
No, I'm gonna bring it up. I'm gonna bring it up to Richard tomorrow because he's calling me first, and we're gonna talk before we call her.
Yep.
And I'm going to bring it up to him and have him ask her how long it's been since she's been there. Why I record it. Because now I have the body cam, so I can record anything now.
Yep. Well, not anything, Benny. There's some things that aren't recording.
Well, I ain't gonna record that. That's for sure.
You can only use that on fans only, though.
Right.
I don't have OnlyFans.
Make sure you inquire and ask if you can record. That's important. Unless you're going to do it on a down low.
Wow, guys, we're having a
Herbert,
real
you're breaking
audio
up.
right here.
Yeah. I don't know.
Hello?
Is he too close or too far?
Yeah, we can hear you. Yep.
Okay, Vinny, I was saying, are you going to do the filming on a down low? Or you're going to check with the courts first about doing the filming? The recording.
No, I ain't even gonna tell him because I don't have to.
Okay.
In the state of Maine, I don't have to tell them shit.
It's a one party state. Am I correct? One party. It's not a two party like Florida.
Correct. One party.
There's been
No.
417 school shootings since Columbine.
That's a lot.
Yeah, and it keeps going up. And I just seen something about a school bus almost going off a cliff here in Maine.
The school bus drove off a cliff? Is that what you just said?
Just about. They had to rescue it.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Carrie says, how do we prepare students for things like this? Have drills, like fire drills? And my answer is they do have drills. Schools do have active shooter drills. Around the nation, they have what they call active shooter drills.
So here's the thing. Here's the question that we really need to ask. At what point do we stop the preparation and resume our children's livelihood for themselves? And so now we have to traumatize these kids that they have to worry about being at school every day. Now, granted, 4,000 is a lot of shootings, but if you look at the number of schools and children in the schools in the United States, it's probably a very low percentile. Now, how much of this do you want to destroy the kids' feeling of safety in the school in lieu of being prepared for something that's going to happen over their childhood and stuff? Like, what level do we want to go with this? Because this is kind of the same thing that we're dealing with CPS, right? Like, how much do you want to prepare these kids?
Here's a better idea. Here's a better idea to that one.
Homeschool?
Darren.
Yeah.
Homeschool our kids and pull them out of the damn schools because they're no good at either.
I agree with homeschooling full on, man. Absolutely.
See, and that was one of the reasons, like, we were like one of the first people to start homeschooling because my oldest was like 40 now, right? So, that was one of the reasons we didn't want to put him in school. We put him in that danger.
Right.
Look at they graduated top of their class and they're doctors. So, I mean, did CPS ever have that statistic? I think not.
Okay, I think homeschool is great. I think that homeschool is great, but it's not in every situation, unfortunately. Brenda, is that Brenda?
Correct.
Is that Brenda? Brenda, okay. Brenda, in your situation, it worked out great. But there are situations where parents themselves can't really focus and sit with their children, helping them with homeschool. And so therefore that child falls to the wayside. And socialization with children, there's no socializing. Children need socializing.
See, and
with their
that's
friends.
just what our parents said. Like, our parents said when we were going to homeschool the kids, is like they're not going to get the social interaction with other
Right.
kids their age and blah blah blah. Well, it's not true
Right.
if you have like neighbor kids and if you go to these events like Easter rolls and stuff like that. I mean, we took our kids to all that type of thing, where they were always having interaction. Church, I mean, all these different places.
Right.
You know.
But see, I'm saying that you were fortunate to be able to do that, but there are parents that are not. They're not going to go to the Easter roll. They're not going to go to Jazzercise or go to, not romper room, what is it called? Where the girls, they do tumbling and everything. They're not going to take their children to that. Oh, cheer. It's called cheer. So they're not going to do cheer. And the kids at home all the time, and they're telling the kids, you got to look at your computer, and you got to do your lesson, and blah, blah, blah. But you're not going out to the school. And it limit on playing with the kids outside, because kids don't play outside anymore. They play on their computers. They have computer games. Kids don't play outside. They don't play on the swings. I have a neighborhood of kids. I got a neighborhood full of kids I hardly ever see them when they go to school.
Right.
I mean, when I walk around my dog, I don't see kids around, but the neighborhood is loaded with kids.
Right.
This is now. So back then, Brenda, when your sons, I think, are doctors. What year
my
was
son,
you?
my daughter, and then I have also a 33-year-old, so that is a doctor.
Okay, what year was that? What year?
No idea. In the
You can't remember what year?
90s to
Was it in the teens?
Well, then I started teaching my youngest kids. So I was, and that was one of the things that I think happened when we moved to Florida is, okay, so we're moving, we have to sign with the Department of Education, okay? We're homeschooling our kids. There's a form that you fill
Approximately
out,
what year?
they sign.
Approximately what year was that, Brenda?
Well, with the Florida thing, that was in 2014 for my youngest kids.
No.
And they were
No,
like,
no, I'm talking about the one that's a
10 and
doctor.
12.
The one that's a doctor
well,
now.
Come on,
That did
I don't
homeschool.
care what math. I mean, what does it even matter at this point? But let me see. He was born in 91, so you figure that
Okay.
out.
Okay, leave it there. Leave it at 91. In 91, we did not have flat screen TVs. We didn't have games called Call for Duty. We didn't have cell phones as sophisticated as they are
We did have home
now.
computers, though. We did have home computers.
We had.
And
Yeah,
then
we
there
did.
was
We
the
had home
start of
computers.
internet. When we moved to
No, I
Maine,
guess what
is
I'm
when
trying
the
to point
real
out is,
start of the internet started,
okay,
actually.
what I'm trying to
And that
point
was-
out, Brenda, is that in the 90s, kids were playing outside.
Correct. Agreed.
That's what I was trying to point out. The only point I was trying to make is that kids were playing outside.
Yep.
Yep.
Just like we
So
did.
they were socializing.
So we did.
So, well, exactly. So there, and the Dewey Decimal System was still around in the 90s.
Oh, yes. Ask Vinny. Vinny, do you know what the Dewey Decimal System is? Don't look it up. Just ask it from the head. Do you know what the Dewey Decimal System is?
I have heard of it.
I don't remember all of it, but yeah, I kind of. But
That's
she
how
is
we-
right though. We had
That's how
we
went
had
to
Windows
library, you look at
XP
the
and
library.
Millennium
That's
and
I
Windows
had-
98. Oh wait a minute. How about an Atari?
Yeah, well,
Oh,
they've got
yeah.
the remakes of those.
Well, how about
I still have
Nintendo?
one of the
I
Atari.
mean,
PlayStation, where we started with
we
PlayStation.
had PlayStation, exactly. Okay, but
Halo,
now it's
Halo, I mean, that was where you had a giant screen and everybody had their own screen and everything. Oh, yeah. That's the thing. It's like you can do it as an interaction with your family, and that's how we started doing that. Where you can play games like what is that strategy game? Risk. Okay, you can do it on the computer, and you can still be doing it with your kids. It's like you just don't have to do it on a board game. I mean, and there's so many games like that. And my husband was always interacting with my kids with whatever type of game. Okay.
Okay.
Lots of different games, pretty much.
Okay, but now let's talk global. On a global level, you were very fortunate but there are a lot of families that both husband and wife are working 2 jobs just to keep the rent going or the mortgage going. And they have little time to really spend with their children. And actually, they look at the school, the public school, as the nursery or the babysitting place for the kids so they can go to work. So they're going to do homeschool.
Yeah, my kids were never in daycare. None of them.
Yeah.
Never in daycare.
Yeah. Well, a lot of people can't afford daycare. Okay?
Because
so when you
Chris
look at
was always, well, pretty much always there. Chris was pretty much always there. He was working until he couldn't work anymore. But yeah.
And then also a lot of parents, they themselves haven't achieved high school. Maybe they just got their GEU. They've never been to college. They don't have any higher education themselves. So I'm just trying to say. Go ahead.
Your stats.
Well, I know back then when my kids were being accepted to pre-med in Orono, Maine.
Hey, Brenda, the Darren's trying to say something.
So the number of school shootings annually has increased from 20 incidents in 1970 to 251. This goes to 2021. Victims and shooters were predominantly male, 77%, and 96% respectively. Nearly 2/3 of the shooters were under the age of 17 years. Handguns were by far the most common weapon used in school shootings, accounting for 84%, followed by rifles with 7%.
Wait a minute, Darren, you're messing up. Something's messed up. Can't hear you. Something wrong with the microphone.
It sounded like you were in a jet plane for a second here.
I think Ashley was taking off there for a little bit. Ashley, you're muted for a second. We'll let you on when you're ready to land for us. All right, let's see here. Where was I here? All right, so rifles are the deadliest weapon. From 1970 to 2021, the rate of children being school shooting victims more than quadrupled, from 0.49 to 2.21 per million population. Deaths increased more than sixfold, from 0.16 to 0.97 per 1 million population. Then it goes on to say California had the most school shootings, 214, followed by Texas, 176, Florida, 120. The District of Columbia had the highest rate of school shootings per 100 schools, which was 5.5, followed by Delaware and Louisiana. So there's the rundown of how that works. So we've seen an increase.
Did they give Did they give the demographics of the shooters, other than male? I know you said it was male, but the demographics of the individuals, are they Hispanic, Black, Chinese, Asian?
I have yet to find the answer to that one. I'm looking right now.
It's usually a white boy. It's usually a white male.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
So let's go there. So it's a white male. So one of the reasons why it could be a white male, because the young man, white male, parents have access to firearms because they actively do sports shooting. Okay, so they have the guns more or less around them. In the minority communities, say Hispanic and Black communities, the guns, illegal guns anyway, may not be readily available. They'll get guns through the black market. Okay, I mean, there's always guns to get through the black market. That's always going to be.
Listen, if you want a gun, you're going to get a gun.
But active in a white community where you have, and I'm only speaking from my thoughts of this matter, you have people who do sports shooting. It's just generally go out, kill Bambi, bring it home, cook it. In the black community, the minority communities going out to kill Bambi.
Yeah, you're right.
There's a minority of people in a minority that will go out and kill Bambi. And they go fishing. But then I kill them Bambi and bring it home.
Right, I agree. You don't really see that many people of ethnic boundaries out in the woods hunting. Yeah. You're right.
No, you don't. No. So therefore, the children have access to and know how to handle a firearm. also than a child lives in a low income neighborhood. They're not exposed to the proper hand.
Yeah, you're right
Buy it
about
off the
that.
black market. And if they buy it off the black market, they're using it for their own protection or to go up against somebody else. But I don't hear a mass shooting going on.
So wouldn't it be a lot of anger? For some reason, the white males are having a lot of anger. What is the anger about? You know.
Well, that's where Darren and I talked a little earlier about that in terms of how many of these kids have been victims of CPS. How many of these kids may have been in foster homes themselves, or released from foster homes, or how many of them are in homes? They're in homes and they're being abused in their own homes, and there's a lot of anger, like you're saying, Brenda.
I know I was looking into, like, I think it's 2017, 2018, and I at least found 4 of these shootings had to do with something that Department of Children and Families were in their life one way or the other. And, at least 4 that I knew that I looked at.
So you're absolutely right about the numbers, Herbert. It says here that historic gun laws have limited access to guns for black but not white Americans. The real-life availability of lethal guns may still be highest amongst white Americans. White shooters are overrepresented in the most notorious mass shootings. Mass shootings where the most victims typically involve legal assault rifles. Large number of U.S. gun violence survivors deserve more attention and support. That's from this article here. But you were right about the numbers of black versus white, and it's definitely for those reasons that you said.
Okay, so with that said, let's look at mental health. Is it white communities?
Yeah, there you go. Yep, you're back.
Okay, in the white communities.
Now we can.
Oh, okay. Okay. What could be going on that's causing anger in the white communities? For example, is it status? Is it status? Like, in other words, in one house they have BMWs and Mercedes and other big cars, and everybody's flashing what they got. Versus in the minority communities, they're just trying to make ends meet.
Yeah, it's definitely some degree of bullying or some sort of self-envy or whatever, but it's definitely bullying, I would say, or it's either bullying or just the loss of, they're so brainwashed or whatever because they're into this foster care system. I'll bet you that you're right about that, because I'll bet you that these school shooting kids, or the bulk of them, are all lost because they don't have their true family around them, so they get soaked into this video game world, and that is their only reality. And then they're out there suppressing that. I'll bet you, I'm trying to find these statistics right now, but I guarantee you at the end of this, we're going to find that these school shooters have either been approached by CPS, been involved in a foster home at one point or the other. One of these things are going to be tied into these. Mark my words.
Hey.
Because the statistics seem awfully close to the amount of kids that get taken by their ethnic, whatever the ethnicity. It's very similar to the ethnicity to the gun laws. That's really crazy if you look at these numbers. How many white kids are involved, the black kids and Hispanic. Seems very, very suspect. But yeah, Brenda, what were you going to say?
Well, I just found some of Chris's writings because, like I said, he's like analyzing all this like with back then. But listen, in 1991, Mr. Cameron discussed a number of topics with the judge, other reputable witnesses. He discussed the construction of pipe bombs by youth, stating there is a high probability that this would be nothing compared to what would be made in the future. On 4/1995, the Oklahoma City bombing occurred and 168 people were killed in the explosion, which used 5,000 pounds of ammonium nitrate fertilizer as fuel. He discussed the high probability of a workplace shooting being a widespread problem, not an isolated incident, because I noticed they always are saying isolated incident. Additionally, he spoke of the danger of prescribing children medications such as Prozac. In 91, the response to the recent incident would be a widespread problem for many Catholic priests. Convictions in 1991, a news report in 2005 stated 1,100 people have outcome abuse of 156 priests from a student in a local high school who's being responsible for this recent forest fire. So later, the student from that high school was found guilty of arson, and then it goes on, with Timothy the next day. I mean, he was analyzing all this stuff, and I'm telling you, it's just like, it's too bad. It's too bad what the country has become, because he tried. That's all we can say. At least give it a try. But
I agree.
It's so funny you said it because I was thinking about Durham across the pond, who said, when you asked him one time, Darren, you said, have you ever visited America? He said, no, I'm afraid to. I might get shot.
Right. And that's the truth. Durham, he said he was muted. Let's see if he fixed that. He wasn't muted on our side. Durham, you there?
Darren from the United Kingdom said he's afraid to come to America because he might get shot.
Yep, that's what he said too. Durham, are you there, bud? Or are you gone? Let me see here. Do we see him in here? Vinny, you see Durham anywhere? Ashley's back. Ashley.
Nope, he's not here.
Yeah, I'm here. I'm just looking. I was actually looking up to see school shootings.
Yeah, are you finding anything? Are you finding anything, Ashley? Because I'm not finding anything that's showing foster. Well, you know what? I haven't rushed foster children. And if anybody out there has any of these numbers, too, please put them in the chat so that we can see them. All I'm doing is I'm typing in foster children, foster children or CPS kids involved in school shootings. But I really think we need to get down to this number because I think this is an important thing.
And I think that they don't even get into that aspect of it a lot of times. And I think there's also times where they don't give you any information about who was this kid? Where did he come from? It's like they don't even go into it on certain cases, I noticed.
Well, I beg to differ with you, Brenda. They do. But it's not going to happen this week, next week, or the week after. But as time goes on, the truth about the kid or the situation comes out. Do you remember the two black guys in Washington, D.C., where everybody was covering to put gas in their car because they were randomly shooting people? Do you guys remember that one?
The sniper. Yeah.
The snipers, right. The name Marvel comes to my mind. And I think he was military. DC sniper, that's right. No,
they were going in the trunk of that car.
Yeah, that's right. But they were shooting everybody. They had no specific targets. They shot whatever they can get, whatever they could shoot. So people realized there was no, hey, I'm safe because I'm Asian, or I'm safe because I'm white or black. No, everybody was equally a target. People were walking around, running around. People were pumping gas in their car and on their knees, ducking behind their cars while they're pumping gas because nobody had an idea who was shooting and where was it coming from. Sounds like domestic terrorists.
Oh, there's an interesting thing from 2002. This Ellen Feinberg, a 44-year-old Champaign woman, stabbed and killed her two sons. Currently, 11 women are on death row for killing their kids. According to the American Anthropological Association, more than 200 women kill their children in the United States each year.
So, what's the common denominator there, Brenda? It's mental. There's something going on with our society on a mental level. People are freaking out. It could be the economy. It could be the economy. It could be a lot of things. But people are just freaking out and doing bizarre stuff.
Right. They shouldn't. This life is tough right now, man. Life is very hard for these people, and the unfortunate part is now that is running down into the family units, into the kids, into all of this. I mean, come on. We're sitting here talking about when I was growing up, and Herbert, you guys growing up, when you were 13 years old, that's when we were able to have sex education class that your parents had to sign off on. And, you would go to the class and we'd all be immature and they'd say penis and you would be, oh, all this stuff. Now at the age of 13, they're actually letting kids choose whether to mutilate their own genitals or not and make that okay. So, I mean, there's a big difference in time frames here and what's acceptable and what's not.
Yeah.
But now, where's the common denominator? You know what I mean?
We have to figure out what is the common denominator to why a child would pick up a gun and shoot.
Let's see. So I'm reading this article right now. Gun violence in the lives of foster children. That's what I'm trying to read here. Waiting for some statistics to pop up here, hopefully. So we can see. It's enough that it's.
I wonder if you put in like DCF, Department of Children and Families, or adopted children or something. Because there was something recently with a lady that adopted 2 girls. Okay, the girls were like almost adults or something, and they want to say again with the sovereign citizen thing. These are people that homeschool these kids or whatever, and then all of a sudden the family comes out and the law enforcement feels threatened. They're actually killed at this point. So, like, how can we know what these people were about actually or anything if they're dead now? I noticed this in a lot of situations when there is some kind of like mass shooting. Like, okay, this is what the law enforcement is saying what this person is. But to me, a lot of times what they're saying is it's like the same thing CPS will say, and they're complete lying. I mean, there's always going to be a bad apple, in any profession. I'm not just, bringing down law enforcement because I know there's a lot of good. In fact, I met a really good state in Florida, so there's a bit to show you. But,
yeah.
I don't know what I'm saying, guys.
Ashley, are you finding anything?
Whatever you break down.
Hello? Testing. Can you hear me?
Okay. Yes.
Okay. Have you noticed that there are very few mental institutions available nowadays?
Yeah, we sure have.
They closed them down.
A bunch of them, right?
Oh.
When they were open, we were not having issues like this.
Well, they existed. You kept it hush hush.
Oh,
No, I'm talking about the massive shootings and everything else, and all this crazy stuff that's going on wasn't really happening because they had a place to put somebody to work on them, to work with them, to work with what was made them distraught and made them, the way they were. Now they give them medication.
Herbert, I gotta do this. I gotta say this because that case I was just talking about, I thought it was a John and Merrill. They were saying the family was anti-government. Okay, the same thing they've said about me and my husband. That they were paranoid. That it was like similar to Armageddon, or like they were doing a well check on these people, and not only did the parents die, but one of the adopted girls also died, and that was in Florida. And they said, okay, this is what the cop said. Their guns were laying beside them. They're trying to say, okay, well, they killed themselves with their guns. I'm sorry, I have trouble believing that, that situation, because I think the cops were in the wrong there. A lot of people are ending up dead. They have a lot to say about what this person was, but I know from experience, they're saying me and my husband are really, really something we're not. And I mean, my husband's the son of American Revolution, which makes all my kids sons and daughters of American Revolution. I'm sorry, it's really a shame the way the veterans and all these people, all these really, really heroes, have been like taken down and their families like broken apart. And why? For money? It's just, I watched that thing that Darren was talking about, Through the Eyes of the Devil, Darren. Oh my God.
Yeah, it's terrible.
I don't know why I watched it, but I did.
Well, it really opens your eyes to a whole different level of what's really going on.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, when we ask the question, where do the kids go? You know?
Yeah. It's like, at least could we know? I mean, you just want to leave us in limbo. Like, this is what's making a lot of people crazy. The parents of the children, that they have no idea where they are or how they are. And I believe that's a majority of why people are going nuts, because they're either going to go to alcohol, they're going to go to some type of substance that are going to take them away from that situation, because they can't deal to think about it. It's always in their head 24 hours a day. Yeah. And some people, I noticed there's some people that's all they talk about. Okay. To me, that can't be good. You have to have some kind of enjoyment in your life, or, you know, you might as well just hang it up then. Pack it up. I don't know.
Yeah, pack it up, right? It's
so
just crazy
how does that I was just going to say, how does that come into play with young kids that they don't even they haven't even got out there to have fun yet, but yet they know how to pick up a rifle and shoot up their school.
Yeah, but they also know how to go ahead and get their genitals mutilated by the CCYF programs that they're giving to them.
Sure, exactly. Well, they do that because it's possibly peer pressure, or it's the thing, it's the style. Everything, if you notice, is always copycats. It's always style. You ever notice when the young guys come out of jail, they have their pants hanging off their butt? The reason for that is because they don't even worry about getting their belt. Am I correct? I mean, you guys heard about that. They don't even worry about getting their belt for their pants. So they come out and it's hanging on their butt, becomes a style after a while. And then big industries, they make pants that way, that slags off the butt so you can see the underwear.
Right.
Again, I'm just pointing out copycat. Right, you see the young boys and young girls with holes in their blue jeans. I mean, where did that come from? And all of a sudden, now they're making pants that have holes in it. And they cost $8, $75. Designer pants with holes in them. So I'm really concerned about the stability of children doing the copycat. And then you have TikTok, where they're doing things like riding their bicycle off the roof of their house into the pool. I'm like, what? Like somebody's going to try to they're going to try to outdo that. Somebody tries to outdo that. Again, it's copycatting. So what I kind of blare it around to from my days is that because we have media, mass media, we get information instantly, real fast. Recently, today I think it was, I knew about it probably within 10 minutes, 5 minutes of the time. I mean, just like,
oh, you're breaking up.
Oh,
wait. Can I interject?
Testing.
So if I don't say what I think, and when I think it, then I'll forget what I'm saying. But that recent, what do you think about people that would blame video games for people acting out in violence? I noticed that they said something similar. That guy went around stabbing people not too long ago. I don't know if you guys remember that.
The Grand Theft Auto thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I think it's just excuses.
No, I think Brenda's onto something. I think that is it called Call to Duty, Call for Service, Call for Help, or something like that?
That one was Grand Theft Auto that they said.
No, I'm talking about the one with a lot of shooting with the AR-15s.
Yeah, that's Call of Duty, Modern Warfare.
Call of Duty, right. Call of Duty. AR-15s came in popular right around that time, real popular. I mean, I know about AR-15s, but they came out real popular. to the point that people buy platforms and they make the guns and they're proud of what they make.
Yeah.
And you're not going to
And the
go out and
thing
shoot
is,
Bambi with an
don't you think
AR-15.
that to me, that's better that somebody have something that they could spend their time doing that they're enjoying. You're not going out there and doing it in real life. You're doing it on a computer game. Maybe you can get some frustration out doing it on a computer game. And to me, computer games were never the problem.
No, I think the computer game gives that person that incentive to some people who have low esteem to go out and do it for real.
Yeah, the government will want to tell you that that's a problem, I'm sure.
My opinion is that desensitizes them. Because when I was in high school, we all had guns in the back windows of our trucks. We all carried guns, and we were all 16, 17. We all had weapons in our cars displayed right through the back windows. And we went out and we hunted without parents and all that stuff. We were all responsible and good enough to go out in the woods together, shoot guns, have target practice. We'd go to the pits. We'd blow off weapons all the time. We never got in trouble. It wasn't a big deal. We were responsible. We were taught how to use guns, how to, take care of them, how to do all of that stuff. They're leaving them behind, and now play these video games, this isn't real life to them. You knew when you took that rifle out of the back window of your truck and you walked out in the woods that there was a chance that weapon could go off and it could shoot your friend. So what did you do? You took precautions to make sure that gun was never aimed at your friend while you were walking in the woods, right? You carried the rifle with the butt end down so that way you don't shoot. You know what I mean? There's all these things that you learned to make sure that it was safe. They don't learn that anymore. So now you get some little idiot that picks up a gun for the first time and thinks he's going to be some commando because all he's done is sit in his mom's basement and be, this nothing, just whatever they become. Because DCYF says you can't complain about parents being too harsh on you anymore. And they know that they can go to CPS and get taken away from their parents. So what choice do they have? How do you parent this?
Yep. You got it. I agree with you. And I'll be really listening to the tube and the news once they interrogate this individual and they come out in another 2 weeks with what he did. And they will. They're going to share it with us.
Yep. Wow. Whew. Well, guys.
Hey, Vinny, did you do that too? When you were upstate New York, did you go hunting? You didn't go hunting, Vinny?
No, my family never hunted.
Okay. Well, let me tell you guys
my
something.
husband did when we lived in Minnesota. In fact, we had to actually protect ourselves from a bear, and it was a nuisance bear.
Well, I'll tell you something about
my
hunting.
husband learned how to use weapons was in the military. I mean, he was in the Air Force, so that's where he would have learned.
Okay. Hunting is a sport. So if you're going to go hunting for Bambi, you're going to go out with maybe a 30-30 caliber or a 30-06 ammo, but not a 223, which is in a AR-15 that can shoot up to 30 rounds before you change the magazine. You're going to make mincemeat out of Bambi. You can't miss.
Yeah.
That's not sport hunting. That'd be like a fisherman going out with a big net and just drag the ocean to catch fish. That's not sport fishing. That's like
it used to be a big thing with the lines. They put those lines across, and I guess some places it is legal, but other places it is not. Yeah. When we lived in New Hampshire, they had a pond that had spring water flowing into it. We stocked it with trout, and that way we could take the kids fishing right outside the door and didn't have to worry about luck of catching it because they're bound to take that.
What a lovely experience you had. But a lot of people in the cities.
I'm sorry I ever moved from New Hampshire because that's when we had the most wonderful time with the children is in New Hampshire. We lived in mountains.
Right, that's beautiful. A lot of people from the inner cities, they have no clue what that is unless they happen to go to Camp Huachuca up in New Hampshire or Maine or Vermont or some places like that. Do they experience something like that? So they don't have any
Plus, I was
experience
just
with that.
talking to my mother-in-law today too. It's just like, cause she's telling me how like they had to go without their electricity for 4 days, and I said, you know, when we moved in that house in Jonesport, Maine, we went a whole month or more without electricity because once we moved there, we found out that the electric pole needed to be replaced because it wasn't in the code. So like however long it took for that, but I mean, it was like upgrading camping. I didn't see, you know, I didn't enjoy camping and stuff like that until after the Christmas marriage, to tell you the truth. But parents would take us to like church to be in there every year, like once a year, go to the apple orchard or something like that.
I would like to. Hey, Brenda, I would like to bring something full circle back to CPS. Now we have attorneys that try to help parents get their children back from the system. Why isn't there a high percentage when people pay their good money to get the children back with these high-paying attorneys?
Yeah, because I gave an attorney a lot of money, and I talked to him today, in fact. The same attorney that was trying to look into this for us as was prison coming out. But you know what I'm talking about? The mass trust account. I wouldn't have had this information unless I went through my discoveries in Charlotte County when I tried to watch my daughter. That I have names and stuff now. They're just proving that this lady was making so much money off my daughter. People were making the money. To me, whenever somebody's trying to prove something wrong, it's always about the money, following the money, abusing the money.
I really can't hear you, Brenda.
I don't know. I'm just going on, but I'm just wondering. It's usually to prove somebody's done something wrong. It's all about following the money, and that's what they would say about the CPS things. It's like if we could figure out what's in their budget or what's their master trust account, who's in control of that, and where did those monies go? Did they go to the children, or did they go to someone else?
Okay, Brenda, what I'm saying this for is because I'm thinking about Vinny. Vinny's working hard on getting his kids back, okay? Vinny's working with attorneys. Are the attorneys jerking him around? Is he not putting out enough money? If he had more money, would he have his kids sooner? I mean, is this all equal? Vinny's a nice guy. Why can't he have his kids back?
Why couldn't any of us have our kids back?
Why? Well, I'm only picking on Vinny right now and saying, why does Vinny have to go through all these hoops and loops only to be told, oh, your court date's going to be set for another date now? I mean, what's wrong with the system? What's wrong with the court system that keeps pushing things back month by month by month? It's not. I mean, I can see that said, hey, we're going to talk about this next week. No, it's always like, oh, we'll talk about it next month or 2 months from now.
In a couple months. That's correct. I noticed that with all of our cases, like even the criminal cases. It's like, okay, and that's why I'm calling my attorney today. What's going on? Is this change of venue happening for Chris? But apparently it's always something. They have to, they're filing a bunch of stuff, and if they file these two things, well, it wouldn't work unless we didn't do the change of venue, blah, blah, blah. And Chris ends up sitting there for how long? And how long do the kids have to wait? And how long do they, like, political prisoners have to wait, And you know what's really weird to me is the last time Chris was in prison or in that jail, in that Dixie County jail, was election time as well, right? So what the thing is that gosh, I don't even know what I'm going with this. Forget it, guys. Forget it. Sorry.
All right, guys. Turn this. All right, let's go. We're going round and round. Let's wrap this one up. Let's do our last thoughts.
Oh, last thoughts?
Yeah, go ahead.
That Carrie brought up. Can I ask the question, Brenda?
Yeah.
Okay, Carrie wanted to know,
go for it.
Why so many moves? Why are you moving around so much? Your husband,
why did we throw her
he has a job. Yeah, you've been all over. I didn't even know you went to Maine. I had no clue you went to New Hampshire. I mean, I thought you were Louisiana or Florida.
She was neighbors with us.
Actually, we always moved to be close to our oldest kids at first. That's why we went to Vermont and New Hampshire and Maine or whatever. But the thing is that we also flipped houses. Okay, we would live in the house, buy a really cheap house, fix it up, flip it, and move on. So,
Oh, you were flipping. You were flipping homes.
correct.
Flipped them.
Okay.
Put them in the back.
Okay. That's it.
All right. Last thoughts, Brenda. Last thoughts. Start with you.
Start with somebody else.
Danny, last thoughts.
As always, keep fighting, never give up, and
Hate your
trust
judge,
and
shake
have
your-
faith that you can get your kids back, seeing as how quite a few other people are starting to. Maybe the tables are turning. Who knows? Keep the faith.
I'd like to pass my last thoughts on back to Vinny to hear a little bit about the progress of his case. I'd like to pass my last thoughts on to Vinny. Just a little bit, Vinny. What's going on?
Not much. I got a meeting tomorrow.
Okay. And you're going to go in with your camcorder, right?
It's on video, so I can record it.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You're going to go with your recording.
Yeah.
That sounds good. I hope everything works out well for you.
Yeah.
So they're okay with you recording then? They're okay with that?
The one-party state.
It's a one-party state, but she's got a good point. Are they okay with you taking recording into a courtroom?
Well, they can't do anything about it.
Well, if you're taking it in there and they don't know about it, that's one thing. But if you openly take it in there, I don't know if they will allow that.
Well, I
They
guess
allow
find
cell
out.
phones in there.
We'll get the answer to this tomorrow, I guess.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yes. I'd like to hear tomorrow the results of
be on
your
edge till
attempting to
then.
record, Vinny.
Yeah, right. So stay tuned, everybody.
Yep. And all I have to say is a one-liner: learn about CPS, avoid CPS, don't become a target.
That's right. Brenda, back at you.
I think we have to look more into the Social Security and what it has to do with our children disappearing, especially delayed children.
I agree with that 1,000%. And for me, I'm going to say, let's see, where do I want to go with this? I'm going to say that our thoughts and prayers are out with all those people in Georgia tonight that are helping their kids go through this trauma, because it's not just the kids that were involved in this and the families, it's all these kids, and all these families are going to have to get through this together. So that's when you guys need to pack it up and stay strong, be together, cut the bullshit out, no fighting and bickering over scraps. This is a time when everybody needs to be together so that we can show unity, because you know what, we are Americans, we all do love our guns. And just because one asshole is going to ruin it doesn't mean that the rest of us have to have it that way. So keep those people in your thoughts and your prayers. CPS Punisher. We are out of here.
Peace out.
Crazy baby, chill. Don't medicate, just meditate. You waking up now, baby. We hella late. Educate. Look at what's going on. Let it resonate. Accelerate. Find your inner hunger like you never ate. Agenda is to push the hate. Separate and segregate. Don't celebrate quite yet. The storm is coming. Cue for heaven's sake. Violence that they demonstrate. Instigating, penetrating the values of our country. And our God is what they desecrate. My fighters ain't no featherweight. Pulling out the scene victims of the fabric that they fabricate. They feed us lies, manipulate, intimidate through fear and force, forcing us to sit and wait till we come together, congregate, and then we liberate. Praying that you give me strength to find some love amongst the hate. Marching on the streets of blood till I see the golden gates. Troubadour, troubled souls, one of God's servants. Blades out, cut the grass till we see the serpents.
One day I hope you see the truth. This puppet show, it stays on because of you fools. We've been dancing with the devil way too long. I know it's fun, but get ready to pay your dues. Oh God, come back home. This crazy world is filled with liars and abusers. We need you now before we're too far gone. I hope one day they finally see the truth. God, we need you now.
I know the truth is hard to swallow, just digest it. Suspected something's going on, chosen just neglected, deflected by some breaking news. Oh, we just accept it, expected just to fall in line and follow their perspective. Don't question their objectives, but I got a lot of questions. How these kids molested, but nobody's been arrested. Read it in the testament, these children are protected. So I'm fighting all these terrorists, both foreign and domestic. Refuse to be directed, lying not a sheep, only kneel to my God. So I'm dying on my feet. Silence when we speak, but there's violence in the street. I've been rolling with the punches, I can't take it on the cheap. Nah, drink from a glass half full, I'm optimistic. People are sadistic, so vicious and malicious. Praying for assistance to overcome opposition, or I'm gonna start resisting and then I pray for forgiveness.
Oh, one day I hope you see the truth. This puppet show, it stays on because of you fools. We've been dancing with the devil way too long. I know it's fun, but get ready to pay your dues. Oh God, come back home. This crazy world is filled with liars and abusers. We need you now before we're too far gone. I hope one day they finally see the truth. God, we need you now. We need you now. We need you now. One day. Truth. This puppet show, it stays on because of you fools. We've been dancing with the devil way too long. I know it's fun, but get ready to pay your dues. Oh God, come back home. This crazy world is filled with liars and abusers. We need you now before we're too far gone. I hope one day they finally see the truth. God, we need you now.
This thing, it's what's going on inside of me.